Everybody else.
Oh, I'm sure. I know that it's that's a big deal, I guess. I guess they're, yeah. It's either a guy.
Good evening, folks. Welcome to the Monday night, October 6th, Palmyra Town Board meeting located at the Palmyra Town Hall, Bellevue, 1125 Highway 106, Palmyra, Wisconsin. Certification of compliance with open meetings law.
Yes, the agenda was posted tonight.
Roll call.
Gajewski?
Here.
Martins?
Here.
Saul?
Here. Pledge of allegiance. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of town board minutes from 8/21/25 and 9/8/25.
Make a motion to approve the board minutes from 8/21/25 and 9/8/25.
Second.
Okay, motion's made to pay the bills from 8/21/25 and 9/8/25. And a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Minutes.
Or minutes. Minutes. Motion carried. Approve payment of bills as presented. Roll call
Northwest Services, $5,180. Northwest Services, $3,493. Northwest Services, $3,542.50. And Northwest Services, $1,050. GFL Environmental, $10,199.88. Palmyra True Value, $54.53. Johnson Block, $1,500. Quill, $511.62. Frank Sauter, $149.80. Internal Revenue Service, $2,067.80. Lang Enterprises, $85.60. Humane Society of Jefferson County, $280.40. Village of Palmyra, $62,544.50. Michelle Smith, $3,329.22. Josh Gajewski, $230.87. Frank Sauter, $369.40. Catalyst Tax and CAMA, $3,125. We Energy, $71.52. Brightspeed, $351.98. We Energy, $61.30. First Citizens State Bank, $105.
Motion to approve the bills.
I'll second it. Need a roll call vote. Is there any further discussion or question?
I do have one question. Authorizing payment for Johnson Block as long as it matches what our letter of engagement for 2024's audit was. I couldn't get the budget year-to-date actuals, but I'm guessing I'm as long as that matches the letter of engagement. Otherwise, I would ask them to come back and you guys are inclined to that.
Say that again.
If the requested invoice
away some $1,500 to Johnson Block. Eclipses what we've paid them for the town's portion of the letter of engagement for 24, and that will be held for until our meeting.
I'll double check the letter.
So, we'll amend the motion as it is stated to hold off on paying Johnson Block until the next meeting. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Dineski,
Aye.
Martins,
Aye.
Sauter.
Aye. Public comment. Citizen statements should be limited to 3 minutes. Although the public may speak on any item not included on this agenda, the board cannot respond or discuss the issue brought forward at this time. In accordance with open meetings law, the board must notice an item on the agenda to allow for discussion on that matter. Your comments will be considered and may be placed on a future agenda for further discussion. Okay, we've got 3 people tonight for public comment, and limited 3 minutes. Janie Mortensen. State your address.
Incognito.
State your address, please.
Jane Mortensen, W1154 South Shore Drive. I came to a meeting a couple months ago, about the solar aspect, and, I had to do my own thoughts on it. Speak up louder?
Hayes,
Okay.
I know you can.
Michelle had me at the back for the second, said Rob just took. So after doing some thought process on how I felt about it, I don't like the solar stuff, especially the one on Darien, down by Darien. It's big, it's huge, it's ugly. The more I thought about it, I finally did some research on the solar that I believe these people presented last time. And I don't believe it's the same type of solar. I believe it's smaller. I believe that from what I've heard, they stay under 30 acres. And I do believe that Mr. Paulson has a piece of land that he has the right to put something that's functional on. My research showed me that this particular environment, solar environment, you could plant trees, small fruit trees. You can do prairie, natural pollinators, etc. I think it is not the solar that is in Darien. I do believe that there's a Facebook post going on right now about do we want the solar to look like that? Some research, it's in the Mojave Desert and it's old school solar, big flip phone. None of it, well, Rob has a flip phone. So I just had my research that I did that I wanted to share with all of you guys. Like anything that I've talked about, it's a very, very emotional thing. However, my choice is to pick solar versus the subdivision that's going on in town. The subdivision can't be taken down, the solar can.
Thank you. Lisa, Eddie, state your address, please, Lisa.
W585 Cooper Road. My questions are concerning the chicken stuff. I've been trying to get in touch with the Jefferson County Health Department for the water tests, and I have been unable to get through. I don't know if they're shut down for government things, but no one has called me back or anything on that.
Okay, as I stated, we can't, because it's actually not an item on the agenda, I can't go into that, but I do have a report during emergency management on the update, which I'm gonna speak about.
Okay.
We can't engage in conversation.
And then my second question is, I'm learning new stuff every day about this, but I was also informed that there are tests that we can test our water for chicken particles getting into our water. My goal is to protect my land and my family from this. Just to put that out there.
Thank you very much. Brian, Fulton, address please, Brian.
N 2209 County Road East.
Thank you.
This is regard to the solar project. I acknowledge it's a much smaller project than some of the stuff going on in Whitewater. However, we are an agricultural township, and we have natural beauty, which is the other thing that is a benefit to our township and why people move here. Solar panels, big farms of them, even 15-acre fields, impact both of those negatively. I've gone down to Texas to see my folks. I see these solar fields pop up 5 years later. They're abandoned. They're overgrown. The panels aren't oriented to the sun anymore. They're clearly abandoned. I grew up in southwestern Minnesota, some of the most beautiful prairie landscapes you'll ever see. There's 3,000 windmills sitting out there right now. It's just destroyed that environment. I understand the need for alternative forms of energy, but to wreck special parts of this township that separates us from surrounding areas is very short-sighted, and I absolutely oppose any more solar activity.
Thank you for your comments. Correspondence.
None.
Okay, we're gonna go to reports, treasurer.
All right, the balance on the checking account is $40,814.92. The tax account, $4,855.58. The airport checking account balance is $48,465.22. And our local government investment pool balance is $91,364.65.
Questions on that, Joe? Clerks.
Nothing to report.
Highway. Bob? This is Bob from Northwest Services, folks.
I gave you guys just a copy of what we were talking about for the break.
Right, but now we got that as a discussion item of new business.
Okay.
We're just doing the general thing right now.
Okay.
And, we get to new business, but I will go all that. Okay, that's fine. Okay, anything else you want to bring to our attention on those roads?
Nothing other than this.
Okay, very good.
Yep, still here.
Did we get a fire department report?
I did not.
Running it? No? They were aware that we had a meeting yet.
I believe they have a meeting tonight as well.
Oh, do they? Airport. Here from the airport. The hangar looks, the new G hangar looks like it's just about complete. We had to come back and remove some soil on the south end of the hangar, because they filled it in where we dug the ditch before, and they had to come back and remove some of the soil. That's all I know, but it looks like there were some electricians in there, so it's gotta be very close. You know, last I knew that all of the units have been rented out. Houston Lake District.
No,
Buildings. Building inspector.
There are 2 electrical permits on the report that our building inspector submitted. Permit costs of $115 and one for $265.
Okay, emergency management plan. This is where I'm allowing Barrett here to give us an update on what's going on with the situation with the chicken problem. So Barrett, if you speaking up to the rest of the crowd, and again, this is a report, folks. This is not like the last time where we will give a report, and I stick my neck out if somebody wants to talk to that side.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Alright, so just a quick update from where we're at. You know, obviously, we're still working through the USDA, DNR, and DACAP on a response to the situation. At this time, we have started hauling composting material over to the facility. We're working very closely with all of our contractors to follow through with what we told you guys we would be doing, which is to get our compost in there quickly, get it composted fully, and get it removed as quickly as possible. The federal requirements are a 14-day hold period, a single turn, and another 14-day hold period. The state's requirements have another 4 turning process that you have to come up to temperature between each turn. So we're going to make sure we get the federal requirement and the state requirement both at the same time as quickly as possible in order to get that removed. But this time we did start hauling over the weekend, and we're already 45% complete. So we anticipate all this truck activity should be over within middle of next week is our goal. If possible, it could be as soon as this weekend that we are all finished up already. So thank you guys all for your patience and your understanding. We're going to do everything we can to continue communication and be open and honest with what's going on. We're trying to stop by as many neighbors as I can. If you don't have my phone number, one of your neighbors probably does. Ask them for it. I'll be more than willing to take any calls and answer any questions or come out and address any concerns we have right away. So thank you again. We really appreciate the support of the township, county, and USDA, DADCAT, and DNR in making this response as quickly and as rapidly as possible. So thank you.
One other thing, water test kits. We know that that's in the works according to Elizabeth, and that has to be battled out with the state lab of hygiene folks. But it will come, and they're supposed to go through Jefferson Health Department, and then we can get a hold of me on that when they're available. I do have a volunteer from the township that will be helping me with that. I really appreciate it. So, that help.
We'll give a call every morning at 10:30 with the entire government, all the organizations all together, so we're all right, able to communicate. So I've got that in my notes, we'll bring that up as a concern, because we're with you. We encourage you guys to well test. We want to make sure that this is done properly. We want to make sure your land, your animals, and your residents are all taken care of. That's our number one priority at this point, so thank you again.
Are you assuring that all your trucks leaving will follow the proper route and are placarded accordingly?
Yes, before any of the companies start hauling anything for us, they have to be approved by DNR, verify their licensing is up to date, as well as their solid waste hauling permit. Any new truckers that we have are given instructions of how to handle their material, as well as the route they're supposed to take, given a printed route out, and escorted from the facility to the composting facility and back for their first drop off, and then from there they're being passed over to an experienced driver who's been doing it for at least 1 or 2 days. We'll be escorting them for the entire rest of that day. We have 3 individuals on staff full-time who are going from Hooper Road, Zion, 106, and all the way back to the farm on 59, and looking and trying to find any truckers who are not following their route. If they can find any, they will be immediately terminated from the contracts. We want to make sure that they're following what they're supposed to be doing, because that is as important to us as it is to you. We have been hauling pretty hard this first couple of days here. We're going to slow that down a little bit, just so we can keep a closer eye on it, but that won't affect our overall deadline for getting this completed.
The trucks need to be placarded that they're carrying the tax.
No, we checked with the DNR on that. The compost material they're hauling is defined as solid waste, so the trucking DOT numbers have to be licensed and registered for hauling solid waste, and no black is required beyond that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Sheriff's Department. Sheriff's not here.
Yeah.
Yeah. New business, action item number 1, discussion and possible direction, action regarding road work on Hooper and Little Prairie roads. Now, Bob.
Yeah. What we were looking at, we're talking about Hooper, which is the first page. Second item, we had a lot of water coming up over that ditch line. And it's actually starting to fatigue the road. We discussed with Frank about it. doing the ditch line, moving it a little bit further away from the roadway, cleaning it all the way down to Bluebird. And then there's a pipe that goes under Bluebird, and that whole area is eroding away also, so it's about maybe a foot away from undermining the road. So that area needs to be cleaned out, and then we would more than likely fabric that area also if it's possible, and then 3-inch stone put on top of it to stop the erosion, as well as the ditch line fabricated. It's good fabric, and then the stone on top of it. And hopefully that will keep that away from the roadway and that range that it's getting now. One above that is a culvert repair that we've been looking at for a couple of months.
Actually, that one there's not on the agenda, so skip talking about
Okay.
that. But we can go to Little Prairie Road.
Well, that's good. Feel like I moved to Little Prairie Road now? There's 10 points on the road, which we marked on the road. And the work, each line on is kind of briefly described as what needs to be done. We started out thinking that we could grade the road, form ditches, and then shoulder, and that's really not over as far as time and logistics. So we went through the 1 through 10 items to fix the ditches, so we actually have water that goes to a ditch, and there's actually 2 areas there that there are no ditches, so we have to make ditches. One proposed area where actually needs a culvert to go underneath the driveway after we put a ditch in. It's the only way to make the water move.
Where's that at?
Just past Tower Road, one way or the other on Tower Road, I believe. That's how we're looking for it. I think it was West 610, Little Prairie Road. That's the address that's there where that culvert should go. I did not price that.
So when you talk about Little Prairie Road shouldering 8490 down there, what are you gonna do for us?
What are we gonna
Do for us for 8490 where it says Little Prairie Road shoulder, what does that
The
encompass?
8490 should have been a separate sheet altogether, but she put this together today and I think it's cool. After the work, but if you choose to do all this work, then we would go down and shoulder, which that figure is for per day running the trucks, the people, the equipment, and traffic control on that whole thing this month.
So that's in addition to these other costs?
But now, this is where I gotta really explain it to you. The way that we put this together is if you were to pick 4 of these, that's the only way to pick the price. Because of the moving of equipment and whatnot. If you decided that you wanted to do the whole thing, that brings up a whole different price range. Because we can leave equipment there, we don't have to transport back and forth, and go from one to the other and sort it out. This is figuring out 36 hours of work. And you could probably do it for a fraction of that. If you did the whole thing. But this was the only way that Ron figured that if you only wanted to take the worst sections of this and do them and not do the lighter stuff, that would be feasible to do. So, the shouldering itself, I don't think after we grade it all, I don't think it's gonna take all that much material to do. So, I would anticipate that probably do that, the shouldering of that thing, without a problem.
What happened to the last time, Josh? Tony came down here for what? The shouldering machine, you just went down the road and shouldering, rolled it.
The problem with this shouldering is that the ground out there, even with the shouldering, it's higher than the road.
Rolled, yeah.
So you're just throwing good money away at that. And that's why if we grade this out, we actually make ditches. The spoils from doing the grading and the ditches, there's several places on the road that use the fill. So we're improve some areas of the spoils.
I'm a little confused. Are you itemizing each one of these, itemizing the individual action that you propose to take? Is it, we have options to pick and choose? Is it these top 10 items versus the 8,500 a day? This is confusing.
Yeah, the 8,500 should be on a separate sheet. It's totally different.
As an option to doing these 10,
Well, the 8,500 is actually just for shoulder and stuff. That's why she should never put that on the sheet. The other options are, well, we figure if we come out to just do that section, what it's gonna take to do. But if you pick like 4 different items, you'd almost have to stick to the price that we figured on this here and the time. But if you did them all, you can go from one to the other without having to shift gears. It's just one steady thing to flow down the road. So it would take a lot less time to do.
we don't have a quote for that.
I'm sorry, what?
We don't have a quote for that.
We're doing the whole thing.
Doing what you said would save time, so.
It will save time, but it's hard for me to figure unless I have direction.
Gosh,
There's also 2 areas on there where putting gravel down for shouldering is like next to impossible. It's just gonna go away no matter what you do. And I think the one is by Tower Road, and then there's another section as you're heading back into town. I think it's number 10. Corners of that pad that there's no way you can get away from it. So the proposed high patch for that.
there's a real problem. Is that right at the top of the road? Gosh, up there where it's 6, 7 inches deep.
Yeah, that right at Tower Road is where we got to. That's, sorry, yeah, you can.
Right at Tower.
That would actually go partially around the corner up Tower Road and all the way to the top and over asphalt.
Excuse me. Gentlemen. Don't forget that. I'll be talking to you in the walkie or something. Yeah, oh yeah. Would you agree that this is a lot to absorb, gentlemen, and looking at this?
Yes, absolutely.
It's possible, we should probably continue this until next meeting to give you the better look at it, both of you and myself.
I've got a question. If you're talking about Tower Road and Little Prairie Road, depending on what happens with the other subject on the docket tonight, are we throwing good money against bad if that intersection is just gonna get damaged with the other subject?
This is the shoulder. This is the shoulder.
Shoulders aren't gonna be impacted?
Well, it'll be a little bit. Well, of the 3 things which I have really discussed, obviously Little Prairie Road is the most important. It's the most important for safety. Because when shoulders drop off, somebody can easily leave the roadway and overcorrect themselves and get hurt. So I don't think we can go back or go past the next meeting without making a decision, because that would be you're scum people. November 10th. That still gives you time to do it, correct, Bob? When do they close the asphalt pipe? Don't you have to close the asphalt pipe and some of that stuff? When do they usually close that, Josh?
It varies. It really depends on the weather. When they decide it's too cold, that's it. Then they shut down. But you could always do those bad sections first and plan on doing that and then work on the rest of it.
What, gentlemen?
Well, we've got 3 things going on. 1, we don't have a budget for this. 2, we don't have a budget for next year yet. 3, the cost of 1 through 10 in my mind is an improvement, it's not maintenance. Shouldering roads is maintenance, it's something that has to be done. So shouldering is a maintenance item. Some of these in my mind, first glance, without having been out there talked on specifics,
table it to the next meeting or what?
I would make a motion to table this until after our budget meeting on Wednesday.
For sure. Okay. I'm gonna call that a motion.
I would.
Okay, motion's been made to table this matter with Little Prairie Road. And the other. Zero. What was the first road? Hooper Road. Table this till after the budget meeting and potentially put it on next month's agenda. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by tabling it. Signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Right, I just have a question for Bobby, and ask you.
Yeah.
There's certain parts on that road that are worse than other on the curve, and a couple, 4 months, 5 months ago, Josh and I talked, and like, you know exactly what he said, but I was wondering what size gravel you're using. If it would be bigger gravel, it wouldn't move as fast, or as easy.
Bigger is not always better. The regrinding center, actually, it's put in at the right time of year. Put during the summer, I should say. Hardens up. A lot of what's out there is hard like asphalt that we paved it. Step on the top, it's loosened up, that's just constantly getting beat up with water drains on it. That's the biggest problem that we have out there. The road sits here, the shoulder sits here. So if you re-shoulder the road, you're gonna have the same effect back again. The water stays on the road and goes downhill. Everybody knows that road, it's up and down all the way. But yeah, bigger is not gonna be better most times, but on the corners where you have deep erosion, there's a couple of them that actually need to be ditched because there's no ditch. So it has no place to go but to the road and take out the shoulder. So once you take them in the thread of the water, that moves fast, then the shoulder should stay. So it's a whole process. It's not just one simple thing. But like there's 2 areas that I proposed that we're talking about putting actual asphalt in on the shoulder. There's just no way to get around it.
And that's gotta be on those real deep areas.
Yeah, and it's this deep at Tower Road.
Very good.
And then for your knowledge, each one of those itemized things is itemized like numbers on the road, starting from town where. So if you want to go out and look, you should be able to compare. Yeah. So I think there's only 4. I think there's only 4 of them on the south or west side. The rest of these are on the east side. So that you want to look at, you see what we're talking about.